Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming to the Weekly Live for Relationship Communications. Welcome to this week's Weekly Live. I'm thrilled that you are here with me. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, I'm Lisa DeToffol, and I'm the founder of Relationship Communications. It's my online community where I work with established and aspiring entrepreneurs. And today I'm going to be your host for the Relationship Communications Weekly Live, which is my weekly live stream show that airs every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you will add that to your calendar and make plans to join me every Friday morning at 10 a.m. If you are joining me live, please do say hello and let me know where you're coming in from. I'd love to hear that. And if you're watching this later, please do use hashtag replay. Now, my goal here is to share tactical and practical information to help you get where you want to go faster than you can go on your own. I've been an entrepreneur for 7 years now. I've made many mistakes, and I'm here to tell you that I can help you move through them more quickly by sharing what I've learned through my experiences. So let me know again if you're here with me live, and say hello. And we are streaming on different places. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button or ring that bell so that you can be notified every time that we do go live. So today we're going to be talking about taking charge of your thoughts. Okay, we're going to talk about taking charge of your thoughts. But before we dive into our topic, I would like to introduce myself. I was a preschool teacher for over 25 years previously to starting my business, and I had dreamed of working from home for some time. But I had been through 2 messy divorces and been a single mom twice, and it just didn't seem possible at that time. I was the breadwinner for my household and, of course, a little scared to actually take that leap of faith and take that chance and go out and do anything on my own. But then I met my husband, Jeff, and that is when I could see the possibility of my dream coming true. However, it was definitely not an easy task by any means. But with his support, I started a training program to learn how to be a virtual assistant in 2018, which also showed me how to start my own business. And by the end of that program, I had a couple of clients, and I have continued to grow my business. And now the Tiger Eye Solution team that was established in 2021 every single year. So my life definitely looks a whole lot different than it did back then. This is my husband, Jeff, our children, Caleb, Matthew, and Alyssa, and our 3 grandchildren, John Price, Hattie Joe, and Anakin. The twins are now 2, and Anakin is about 15 months old. So yes, they keep us on our toes, and such a joy to have them around for sure. So we're talking about taking charge of your thoughts. We're going to talk about, the whole concept of controlling your own thoughts. This is really important topic. And in order to take charge of your thoughts and grow your business, you have to have control and take charge of those thoughts, right? So let's dive deep into this concept of taking charge of your thoughts. So we believe that our thoughts are out of control sometimes, right? How many of you have thought that? I know I have. You've thought that your thoughts are something that you maybe can't control. And that's, why you kind of act or don't act, whichever the case may be, on some of the thoughts that you have, right? So your thoughts are your thoughts. That's just the way it is, whether they're good, bad, whatever they are, all right? So tell me in the comments if you have thought that, that you can't manage your thoughts, or you think that the gibberish is all in your head, all the time, telling you this, that, and the other. You can't do this, you can't do that, telling you not to take action, whatever the case is. Or maybe it's someone else's voice in your head that you continue to hear. Maybe as a child, your mom told you XYZ constantly on a regular basis, and it's your mom's voice you hear in your head all the time. Whatever the case is for you. But listen to a podcast or some other type of training videos. Definitely, put something else in your head to kind of quieten that noise down. And the other thing that will help quieten that gibberish in your head is action. The problem is that the gibberish is telling us not to take action. So it can be a problem. And when you don't jump in, eliminate listening to that gibberish and jump into whatever the action is that you need to take, that can hold you back, right? So the other thing I want to talk about is that we believe that just because something is in our head, it's true. And that's not the case. Absolutely not. Just because I think something doesn't mean it's true, right? At all. But to be open to exploring that makes a big difference. There's a book I want to tell you about. It's written by Carol Dweck. It's called Mindset. It's been around for quite some time now. Really important work in this book, because what happens is when we believe that we can't make a difference in life, it's our own lives sometimes that suffers, right? That's called a closed mindset. So here's the book. If you'd like to look it up and possibly purchase it and read it, this is what it looks like, okay? The book Mindset. And that's where we stay stuck. If we have that closed mindset, that's where we stay stuck. And, to be honest, I've had that closed mindset where, other people's thoughts mattered and it was controlling me. I've been there, and you may be there currently. And, it was like I was just adrift. I literally felt like I was just swaying all the time. And by looking at this concept of open mindset, which is anything is possible, we can impact our lives. We can manage our thoughts, all of that. It gives you hope, right? It gives you possibilities instead of a dead end. The closed mindset is really all about the dead end, and that's not where you want to be, okay? So you don't want to act on everything that you think. If I acted on everything I thought, it might be like this. I'll give you an example. So I recently bought a new ceiling fan to put somewhere in my house, and it was brown. Then I learned one of my neighbors was selling their house, and so I was looking at the pictures of the house and thinking that I shouldn't have gotten the brown fan. So now I'm looking at white fans and thinking I should get a white fan instead. And I'm kind of, just spinning, in all of a matter of seconds about a decision I made. And I thought that for a long time, looking at the pictures, talking to family members who is, great with light and decor and, all the things. And then my husband agreed, my daughter agreed, everybody I talked to agreed. But I see one picture and I'm throwing everything out the window. So I had to stop myself and say, you bought one fan. Just install it. And quit questioning whether that's really the one that you are supposed to have and supposed to use. So let's see what it looks like. If you don't like XYZ and you think a different, if I didn't like the fan and I thought a different fan should go there, would look better, whatever. There's other rooms in my house where that fan would probably work great if I wanted to go back and buy the white one to put in that specific space. So just install it. Let's get it in place. Take control of my thoughts, right? And now that you know what that is, let's see how much you love this. How much I actually love the fan. Because if I loved it so much, it wouldn't have been hard to decide. But by having that closed mindset or questioning, saying the what ifs, all that, and looking at photos of another house, that kind of brought up other thoughts around my decision to buying the brown fan. But I shouldn't be basing my decisions on a house up the street and what kind of fans they have in that house that's getting ready to be sold, right? That's just not how I should control my thoughts and decisions that I make, right? And it's the same in business. I'm running my business, Tiger Eye Solution, and people say you should change, and be a lot more like this, or you should be doing this or that or the other, the web stuff, or, be more valuable to others with the admin pieces. Then I think maybe I should do that. That it's easy to just reinvent everything or reestablish everything in my business instead of focusing on the client work, spreading the word about my business and what I do, and getting clear about it, and getting out there and networking and being proactive. Don't sit here in my thoughts and think I need to change this, and this in my business to be more successful. I need to take action, right? And be clear about what I say and how I share about my business, and actually attend networking events. I actually have joined a challenge in a community I'm a part of for the next 4 weeks. My goal is to attend 12 networking events. I am on track to completing those 12 networking events in 4 weeks at the end of that challenge. And that's me taking action, right? To help move my business forward in the direction it needs to go. And you can do the same thing. Set yourself a specific goal. I set a goal back in July when Tiger Eye Solution turned 7 years old to gain 10 new clients. I have 6 more to go before the end of the year. My goal in July was to gain 10 new clients before the end of 2025. Yes, I know we're in the very last quarter of 2025, but I truly believe that before now and December 31st, I can gain 6 more clients. I'm on the right track to do that, right? By attending 12 networking events in 4 weeks. So you can put goals in place to help you move your business in the way you want it to go. So I don't want to confuse things within my business or for myself or make them complicated for me or my clients just because somebody else had XYZ idea about what I should do within my business. It's my business, so the choices and actions that take place for my business should be mine, not someone else's, and it shouldn't be based on what someone else is doing, right? So, people have ideas all the time, and just because they do doesn't mean they need to plop them in front of me and I need to pick it up and run with it, right? I need to sit and think, is this something I need to do or implement or, whatever? Is this going to be the best thing for my business to help move it forward and help it to be successful? So there are things to do where you can control your thoughts. And the first thing is to be strong first, okay? Be strong for yourself and for your business. Manage all the gibberish that's in your head, all the voices in your head well. And to manage your thoughts, you have to be aware of them, right? That means you need to maintain what you're thinking and monitor what you're thinking. And you have to have an open mind about what that is. So if someone came in and said, the wall is purple and you can see that it's white or green, you don't automatically jump to that because that's obviously not true. right? But when there is a gray area, we get confused and we muddle through everything in our brain, right? So what I want you to do is that when you're thinking things, I want you to notice them. I want you to notice the negativity. I want you to notice the closed mind thinking. And I want you to start to turn those around into positivity, like positive phrases. So an example, I tried very hard to say, I have to anytime, instead of saying, I need to, I have to, or change I have to I decided to. Because I have to, what that means is I'm not in control when I say I have to. And then I think it's true, right? Or if you decided to do it. Deciding is much more powerful. I decided to do XYZ. There are lots of phrases like this, right? You can take the power that takes our power away. I have to do this. Or I get to do this. You see the difference there? Or I decided to do X. So when you're thinking, take control of your thoughts. And if you're saying, I have to do the dishes, turn around, I get to do the dishes today. I have to do my laundry. I get to do my laundry today. I'm going to have clean clothes. You see how different that sounds, right? So manage your thoughts. And don't give your power away with the negative thoughts. And, by making that change in our thoughts in that way, and flipping it around, even saying I can't do something has no power, instead of saying I get to do this. I can't meet you for lunch today, but I do get to meet you next week for lunch, right? So listen to the voices and in your head and turn things around. Don't have the negative mindset or the dead end mindset. Have the positive and open mindset, right? So I want to invite you, if you're not already, if you have any questions about anything I thought share today, please do reach out. I'll be happy to answer your questions. But also, if you're not a part of the Relationship Communications community and Facebook group, I want to invite you to come join the group over on Facebook. It's a free group to be a part of. We would love to have you. If you do go join, please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what it is that you do. We would love to learn about you and possibly schedule a coffee chat with you to get to know you even further and see how we can support each other. Also, the networking relationship communications also does a monthly networking mixer. And our next mixer is on October 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you will add that to your calendar and make plans to join us for a great time of just networking with other entrepreneurs and meet new people. Again, if you have any questions about anything I shared today, please reach out, send me a private message, give me a call, whatever you need to do. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you again soon.